There's a new Marvel out that's supposed to be nuts. We should go see that.
Hello, fellas and ladies. It's time for some Marvel. Marvel, it's back. For now. Now, when I say it's back, I don't mean like we're so back. Right? I don't think we're there. This isn't a bad one, but I don't think we're so back, whatever that means to you. But hey, Marvel's doing another one. We got another Marvel out. And as we all know, Marvel is better than ever. It's on an upswing. Things are going great for them, and everyone's being completely normal on both ends. Talking about the Thunderbolts, or I guess just Thunderbolts, or I guess Thunderbolts Asterix. Another Marvel movie. This one has a couple of characters from the other movies in this one, and they kind of team up. I don't want team up's the wrong word, but I kind of like the way that they teamed up, and they got to stop something, kind of. That sounded very dismissive, the way I described the movie. It's actually, what I said is definitely an incorrect way of describing it, and what it's a little organic, but it works. This movie is not bad. Marvel movies are on an obvious downward spiral. Things are not looking good in Marvel land. This one, though, there's something there, for the most part. Every time, Marvel doesn't, since Endgame, every time Marvel doesn't release something that isn't, total dog shit, people are just like, hey, Marvel's back, there we go, and then the next movie is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This one is pretty well liked, I will say. This one, I think critics are pretty nice to it. Audiences, I can't tell, actually. I'm not actually sure audiences are feeling about this one, but, it's getting people going, oh, finally, we're back. I gotta say, I think people are, because they're so used to dog shit from Marvel, that people are just like, this is it. This is amazing. This is art. Yeah. I think that Thunderbolts is a tale of two films. The first half of this movie is pretty unbearable at times. There were many moments where I was struggling to get through it. It was this is rough. It's directed by Jake Schreier, I believe. Director of Beef, and some episodes of Beef, which I love. This movie's about a group of characters, but Florence Pugh is at the center of it all. But you get your other characters, mostly you got Ghost, you got Kurt Russell's kid from Falcon Winter Soldier, you got David Harbour, the Red Guardian, and Winter Soldier. And the thing about them in the first half is they're all the quirky ones. All of them are in the same note. Every single one of them. Also, Taskmaster is in it. We all knew it was gonna have the Taskmaster, but it's funnier than you think. This movie wants to be funny to an almost Elon Musk degree. It's so desperate to be the irreverent one. We're the A24 fans gonna like this one, we promise. In the first half of this movie, they're all just quirky. They're all just slanging insults at each other, and because of that, they just kind of seem dumber than they're, I think, supposed to. Wyatt Russell's character is just a different person than than I remember him from the show. This is just not who he was. Now he's just a wisecracker, and maybe you can argue that's a defense mechanism, but I don't know, with Ghost, it's just, she's just quirky. Again, a completely different character than what I remember from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Florence Pugh is even the quirky one. It's just, I don't like that every single one of them are just quirky kind of dicks. I get that it's supposed to be they're irreverent, but in Guardians, they were all cracking wise, but in their own in their own little way. I think kind of the point of Chris Pratt's character in Guardians example, that he is kind of stupid, and then Dave Bautista's character is kind of stupid, in a different way. They worked off each other, but in slightly off ways. This one, they're just all cracking wise instantly. Some of the action works. I kind of like how they got together initially. It was a little interesting. But it's so cringy, and the pacing is so wobbly. There's constant going back and forth between storylines while planting little seeds of character work, but for the most part, it's just we need to be the irreverent one. We need to be silly and goofy. There's a whole thing with Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character being impeached, and every time we go back to that, I'm just I don't like this character in this movie. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is the performances are all great. I actually think Florence Pugh is pretty fantastic, actually. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is the exception. I did not think she was good. Yeah, but there were moments in this first half of this movie where I was this is tough to get through. This is just so structurally uneven and so all over the place and so wobbly and just so getting to nowhere. It's just kind of I don't really believe them as a group, and I guess that, and I can see some intent there, especially when we get to the second act, it was just so much of this movie me going like, I don't care about these people. And then the second half happens, and I was like, and I don't know, it takes a turn. I mean, I guess I can keep talking about what I didn't really like. I think the characters of Ghost and Bucky are left in the back burner, just totally left in the dust. I don't know where the Taskmaster was, but I kind of see some intent with Bucky, but Ghost was nothing. But I think even in this second act, it kind of like works. There were some things about like the prophetization of superheroes that the movie kind of hints at that never really fully embraces, but I think at the core of this movie is a character film. Florence Pugh and Lewis Pullman's character in particular are pretty like well delved into, and like really getting at the core of these people's insecurities and darkness, and like their, this idea of the past that they chose defines them. Kind of what makes them dicks, what got them in this situation in the first place, in a way. And the movie does it in a way that I was really intrigued by. Like, there was some pretty interesting heroic moments between the characters, and then something happens. A way that the movie, because the movie doesn't end in like a CGI army or anything like that. It's just them versus this one guy, and they do it in a way that works. It's very weird almost. It gets almost like Kaufman-esque. I was into this. Like, it was effective. I want to see more of this in Marvel, less of this. I like that this movie stayed on it in its own lane, focusing on what these characters have. I'm not saying it all works. I'm not. But it actually tries to stand out and have its own identity with its almost existential, humanistic, like character work. I didn't get to the point of tears, but I know some people did, and I don't blame them. The movie has a really sincere, like, didaction of mental health. Like, don't get me wrong, a lot of the moments in the first half are very, well, that just happened-y. But, like, stuff happens in the third act of this movie, and they're like, let's give it some air. Let's let it breathe. Let's let these characters resolve themselves. And son of a bitch, it worked. It was effective. I think what Florence Pugh got at, in particular, because she is at the center of this, but what she got at was pretty good. Like, I can't believe it was in this about a Marvel movie, but like, it got at something real, and I really appreciate that. I really acknowledge, like, I really love that. Don't get me wrong, Avengers Doomsday is still going to be like the worst movie ever made. In fact, there is a post-credit scene that like does a thing, and it's not really an insult to the movie, but it kind of just reaffirms that Doomsday's gonna suck. But I liked this group of characters. I wish I got more of certain ones, like Ghost, but I was a little into this group of ragtags. I was into this like whole mental health thing of like, oh, them kind of getting over what, like, they're demons, the void, if you will. No, it's not perfect, even in these moments. Like the whole like, there's a thing with Lewis Pullman where he kind of just has like a Homelander thing, and it doesn't work. But I like that it looks like a movie. I actually really appreciate that they used like practical effects, even when they didn't kind of have to, which is kind of what like is holding these movies back a lot of the time. Tone's a little off, sure, but when they actually get to the grid of it's very stable. And God damn it, I gotta give it kudos. You can call me a hater. I am not a liar when it comes to the Marvel movies. I am not rooting. I'm like a little rooting against it, but I'll put my guard down if I have to. And while this movie is not perfect, I gotta give. You got this one. I like that it thrives on its darkness. It actually wants to, even if it's not always successful, it wants to do something different. It wants to focus on the characters. It's very character driven, and I like that about it. It's cringy at first, but god damn, is it effective in the end. No, Marvel isn't back, or whatever that means, but as rough around the edges as it is, I prefer something a little more bold like Thunderbolts than I do the other slop that we've been getting from the MCU. My issues with the pacing and the character work of the first half doesn't necessarily get canceled out by the swings and the emotional heat of the second act, but I'm struggling to be cynical with it, as it doesn't quite point to bigger issue with the MCU, just some rough notes, and otherwise pretty sincere film about like mental health and like dark emotional voids, and I'm giving it 7 Taskmasters out of 10. Pretty insane what happened to that. That's like, that, I don't know why. I really don't know why that's in here. It's insane. All right, that's the movie. Let's grab and share. Marvel sucks still.